here. No, okay, so I'm gonna draw some pirate rabbits. Here's like a one I did for the thumbnail. Let me zoom in a little bit. You guys can see my whole setup with my tablet so I can see the chat. All right. Yeah, so today I thought I would draw some pirate rabbits. I just did a quick sketch for the thumbnail to see like if I could do it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll do this whole thing. And then okay. Hey everybody. So tonight I'm gonna draw some pirate rabbits. Um, I got all set up. I did this one for the thumbnail. I always try to do a practice of whatever I'm drawing because sometimes I get really excited and I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I'm going to draw. And I'm going to be like, it's just like, and I'm going to, it's going to be so good. And then I sit down to draw it and I'm like, oh, this is not that good at all. So today I did this. I like it a lot. I think we'll either do these, or if the pirate rabbits turn out to be a little bunk, we will do like Chinese food. That was option number 2 for tonight's stream. Chinese food or pirate rabbits. It was actually pirate raccoons, but then I thought I was informed that raccoons don't get a bad rap, so I should probably try to do something more fun. So I did pirate rabbits. All right. So we're just going to draw this one a friend. I think that's the best. I've been having trouble getting my beard in the shot. Not trouble getting my beard in the shot. I've been having trouble because I've been getting my beard in the shot. So I'm just moving that out of the way. Okay. It's a little cold here today, which is nice. It was raining. And it took me a little while to get started on the stream. Let's see. We'll do one. So they don't. Let's do some experiments and see if they'll be better looking like rabbits or standing like rabbits or standing like people, because I think it could really go either way. So let's see. We'll do this guy. Give his little nose here, his little mouth. And then where would his eye be? I feel like the placement of the eye is the whole thing. If you get the eye too far, like this guy, I did the eye like 3 different places to try to get it. Hi, Oddfud. Hi, everybody. Okay. And then the ear. And these are not going to be like any specific breed of rabbit. I know I'm not really well versed. I know some people are like, know all the rabbits, you know. There's a bunch of different pets. I know there's like a giant one. Yeah, today I'm drawing pirate rabbits. So here's a sample, and we're going to do another one. I'm not sure what that's going to entail. Maybe like a blunderbuss. So this one is like sitting down. I feel like rabbits are always either sitting or hopping. I guess that's the whole thing. Yeah, so this one I drew more as a rabbit. Now I'm drawing a blank on stereotypical pirate things. Like, do we put a parrot on his shoulder? What do parrots look like? We can give him an eye patch. We can only see one eye, so maybe we'll save the eye patch for a pirate we can see both eyes on. I said parrot, I mean rabbit. Parrots have a big hook beak. They're pretty friendly. Okay, I think that's parody. We can give him like a ruffly shirt. Okay, yeah, it's to put rabbits in pirate garb. I think it's definitely going to be the case that they need to be standing like people, because this is not working out so great. So a scimitar is a curved sword. I know a lot of people have stopped using it because it has this connotation of like Middle Eastern weapon. I think it was brought about in the Crusades also. Like the word was brought about in the Crusades. So I think there's some uh, cultural problem with it there. But yeah, scimitar, as far as I'm aware, my understanding is I was just reading about this a few months ago, is oh, thank you so much, Raquel. Your drawing's way better than yours. I am 40. Yeah, so I started drawing seriously about 6 years ago. I had done a couple of art classes in school and stuff like that. A lot of my friends were artists, but I was not drawing anything. Maybe I drew like 3 or 4 times a year, maybe once a month, something like that. And I had a big life change where I moved. I moved in with my fiance, my girlfriend then, my now wife, and she was like, "What? Like, if you could do whatever, what do you want to do? Right? This is the time to make that choice." Oh, thank you so much, Alexander. And I was like, I always wanted to be an illustrator. I loved. I had I since I was a little kid. Right? There's not a lot of jobs that I wanted to do since I was a little kid. There's some that sounded interesting, but I really wanted to be an illustrator. And so I started practicing and taking online courses, and I got a couple textbooks, and I revisited some of my old art classes and stuff from when I was younger. Well, let's not tell people how old anyone is as a visitor. I think that just invites trouble. So let's not share ages in the chat. I should put a little, just for safety. It's not a good practice. All right, what else do pirates? This is like less a pirate and more like a distinguished gentleman on the sea. All right, yeah, let's do one standing up. I think this one looks pretty good. So there's this famous thing pirates do in movies. Maybe it's a trope where they slide down. It's probably from one particular movie, and then a bunch of movies made references to it. Oh, hi, Ken Bates. K and M Bates. Hi, K and M Bates. Where a pirate stabs the sail. He's up here in the rafters and the ramparts and the what is it called on a ship? The rigging. He's up there in the rigging, and he stabs the sail in order to fall slowly into the battle. So I'm just gonna get some sketch here. Here's the rabbit's face. This will be where the ears are. That's where he's stabbing the sail, so he needs his arms to come up this way. This one is from behind. There we go. This is where his eye will be. And now we do the body. Big back body. We'll do his legs kind of tucked up. And the tail sticking out. Oh yeah, this should be turned a little more. All right, that's good. This leg is a little shifted. There we go. All right, we got the sketch down, so now let's start filling it in. I do think this will work. Let's erase some of the failed sketch lines. Oh yeah, giant pumpkin boats is really cool. So there's a giant pumpkin boat. There's probably more than one, but I know of a giant pumpkin boat festival in Cooperstown where the Baseball Hall of Fame is, and they do a pumpkin boat regatta where people grow these giant pumpkins and then they race them in the lake. It's pretty crazy. It looks great. I've never been there in person, but I've seen news articles about it and I've seen photos and stuff. Okay, little bunny nose, little bunny mouth. Oh, another thing pirates do is they'll hold a knife in their teeth or a sword in their teeth. Let's have this bunny do that. Yeah, so have you ever heard of the haunted Queen Mary? Oh, I don't. It's like I've heard of a few haunted boats, but I'm sure I've heard of the Queen Mary, but I cannot remember specifically the story. Is it the one where they show up and it's just empty and they never found anybody? They don't know what happened. Like everyone seems to have left in a hurry. And this is like, it depends. I think you should draw. So I think it's really important for me to draw like what I feel not inspired by necessarily, but what I feel like works for me. And I would definitely encourage that because if you have a connection with the art that you're doing, with whatever it is, if you can find a way to make it something that you are like interested in and proud of, then I think it can really increase not only the quality of the art, but like your enjoyment in doing it. All right, let's get this. I've like turned this rabbit a little bit more, so I'm erasing the bottom here where we had it before, and we're just gonna like have the tail here almost facing us. So then the leg would be more like this. Yeah. Little paws. Okay. On the tail. Ooh. And then I guess we wouldn't really see the other leg, but we might see, yeah, like the upper leg. I like to draw animals mostly from reference, like, and I looked at some reference before I sat down. Ooh, yeah, koalas are good. I drew koalas a couple times. My problem with koalas, and it's specific to me, you might not have this problem at all, was I was having a hard time getting them to look alive. They kept looking uh like stuffed animals. But yeah, I love it's a good draw, koalas. I like doing animals a lot lately. I used to kind of avoid animals because I felt like I don't know, I wasn't very confident in my work. But it's important not to avoid the things I'm just trying to teach myself this lesson right now. That it's important not to avoid the things that you think you're bad at, because if you do that, then you will never get better at those things. Right? So like for instance, I avoid drawing people, not all the time or anything, but I definitely choose not to draw people if I can. And I realize like I'm not drawing any people because I've been avoiding it, which means I'm not getting better at drawing people. So yeah, I don't have any pets. I had a few cats. I had cats growing up and dogs growing up. I had 2 crayfish growing up, and I had a pair of rats when I was growing up. Uh, my cats stayed with my little brother when I moved into a place with no cats, and then that was years ago. I never got another one. Ah, I had a friend who had a bunch of chihuahuas. They were chihuahuas. I don't know why I said it like that. A bunch of chihuahuas, and they were very loud. They ran like a pack. It was really interesting. Okay, I'm gonna make this dark in the hole just because I don't have a good, we're not coloring it, so we need something to make it stand out. And then I'm gonna erase here again just to, I don't want this to be gray because I want you to be able to see the detail. So I want these little bunny fingers, little bunny paws to be holding on. There we go. And then we'll do the knife a light gray. The blade. Hey Aubrey, how you doing? Oh, tiny little fish. I had, okay. So I had crawfish, crayfish. We had them as pets for a science project in school, like a science module. And then they were like, well, does anyone want to take them home? And I was like, hell yeah, that sounds great. These things are great. Like the best pet I ever had. You just like watch them. You watch them exist. You make sure their tank is like acceptable. Sounds wonderful. So I got them. It was fun. Yeah, ankle biter, I bet. I've been bitten by a couple dogs, and Chihuahua, it makes up like more than half of them. I'd say more than half the time I've been bitten by dogs has been Chihuahuas. All right, this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. Oh, I erased this part of his ear. I'll get that better. There we go. We can give him a scar. Pirates have scars, right? Okay, I think this turned out pretty good. Oh yeah. School's #1. It's important to get enough sleep. It's something I've struggled with. And it's very important. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, anytime you come in, it's always good. Always good to have people stop by. All right, I think I'm not going to do like the ropes and stuff, but that'd be a little complicated, but I'll hint at it, you know. I think that's good. Let's see. Right. So I had crawfish. We brought the crawfish home. Crayfish, crawfish, I don't know. We say it a bunch of different ways. And I never chose. What kind of pirate should we do now? Still rabbit. But what's another pirate thing? Oh, like foot up on the chest of treasure. Well, you assume it's treasure. So let's get the treasure. Let's get the chest in. All right, let's draw. I always thought that it was so silly when I learned in art class that you should like start with rectangles and then build your way up. Oh, you don't have to. If you can, like, there's ways to do it better, like ways to know, and then you don't have to do it. And as I've done more and more and more illustrating, like, there's no reason not to. It doesn't hurt you to do it. And then it's done. And like, you don't have to think. It's like much less work for you to just, for me to just do the thing. Oh, got the keyboard smash. I do not Catullus. I don't know your question, but my guess is, do you speak X language? And I do not. I'm sorry. Is this chest very... All right. Like very short, very, not short, stout, I think. There we go. Let's do that. Goldman Bridge, I have not. Wait. I don't think so. Unless it's in Vermont and it's one of those covered bridges, then no, I haven't heard of it. I did the rectangle. Rectangle method failed me. I'm focusing too much on this chest. There we go. Because now this rabbit, how big is a rabbit? So humans are very tall. Rabbits, I don't even know if a rabbit could stand with a foot. All right, we're gonna find out. Let's see, rabbit, foot, body stretching up. This might be too, the chest is either too small or the rabbit's too big. And I don't think we can make it work. So let's, instead of doing the chest, have you ever heard of the Clown Motel? No. Are these like, what's it called? Analog horror? All right, so to solve the size problem and proportion problem to get the rabbit to stand on something like a chest, it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So instead, we will get the rabbit. Let's have the rabbit standing on nothing for a second. And just get his feet. Is this going to be too big again? Yeah. All right. Third time's the charm. We'll start down here. We'll start a little smaller and we'll start a little lower. Smaller foot. Actually, that foot was so small. Smaller foot. There we go. Leg going up a little bit. And then the big part of the leg, the part that seems like it goes backwards or whatever. And then you have body, and then the other leg that's on the ground. That has a leg part, two leg parts, and then the big part that seems like it goes backwards. The part that stays basically attached to the body. All right, then you have body, and we get midsection, top section, where his arms will come from, and then head section. Oh, it's called a head. Oh no, you're not being annoying. All right, the head section called the head. Let's have this one looking straight at us. That'll give it make it a little bit easier, and we can probably do the eye patch. Let's do the eye patch. I should have drawn the regular eye first, but that's okay. We'll have that, and we'll do ears, sort of pointing forward, sort of pointing off to the side, like rabbits often do. Oh yeah, we give them a like a gold hoop earring. No, I didn't think of that before. What else do pirates have? A gold tooth? Give them a gold tooth. It's like, shing. All right. What is he doing with his arms? We'll figure that out in a second. Let's do this. So we could do like a gem or a crystal. That wouldn't be bad, but I think let's do a stack of coins. I think that's... If I can learn to draw real quick. Oh, all right. Pow, 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 pow. Okay, we got the foot. Let's give him a little definition. Okay, now the coins. They don't have to be perfectly stacked. I feel like that makes it a little bit more believable, a little bit less that's probably too far though. A little bit less I don't know, like stilted. It's not like the whole thing's obviously unbelievable, but I think if it was like a perfect stack of coins, that would look weird. And luckily pirate coins are not perfect, so we can make these rough and tumble. They're probably all gold, but they're not even necessarily all the same currency. So that's how pirates work. We'll do one hand resting on a sword. We'll have it going like back and coming forward. We'll have the sword, a hilt here. And then the scabbard. Is that how a sword scabbard would work? Let's make it straight so I don't have to think about if I did the scabbard right. And that's attached to a belt. And we'll get some detail on that in a minute. All right, it's coming together. Constructing a rabbit, a pie rabbit. No, that doesn't. Oh, hi, Dylan, Mateo. I think. All right. So now we got this other arm, and then we can come in and start doing some details, some cleanup, maybe even a little bit of color. I do have my colored pencils here, the tiny one. I have a 24 pack, but if you follow me, you know I just moved recently. And I've only been in my apartment for like a couple of weeks because we had to travel and stuff. And so a lot of stuff's still all packed up. So I don't know where that larger set of colored pencils is. Okay. Yeah, so now what to do with the second arm? What else do pirates do? We'll make this like just a tiny paw. Let's zoom in a little bit. I'm not drawing anything else. I can give you guys a little zoom in. So he's like leaning off to the side, so maybe he's like resting on something. Maybe he's like holding the Jolly Roger. I think that's good. It's like not something a pirate would really do, but I think it's fun to have this pirate rabbit do it. Be kind of, it has to be taller than his ears because he wouldn't have a flag that is shorter than his ears because then he couldn't hold it. It would just blow into his ears all the time. So he would probably make sure that it would blow over his ears, right? He's not an idiot. He's just a pirate. What were pirates? Not sellswords, not freelancers. Mercantile? No, that's just trading stuff. I can't remember, right? Like, oh, there was privateers. That's one of them. But like pirates were often, it was just like a derogatory name, right? For like essentially a type of warfare, the covert warfare. But I guess it's hard to compare today what pirates were like then because like it's hard to imagine the relative powers of these like and political power also, but like and their position on the world stage of like Spain and Britain and France and like those were the countries that I recall that were doing the privateering. We have pirates today, and like it feels like it can be understood because like we live in the world of today, so we know like what is happening with that. Yeah, because I was just like England recently. I was reading about England and like basically going over my grade school history lessons. Um, because that's all we learn about in the United States. I don't know if everyone's from US, but we learn basically like European history. Oh, should it be a rabbit skull? Oh, it's creepy. Yeah, maybe it should. I don't know if I can draw a rabbit skull. Okay, I think this is the rabbit skull more or less. Okay, where's the nose? Like here. Put ear bones. It's already too late. It's too low. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sometimes I get really distracted by the drawing. Wait, the nose is definitely lower than the eyes. Okay. And then little delicate ear bones. Okay. All right, another little bit of bone. Another straight line going underneath. It's not straight. I curved these because I feel like I wanted it to look different from the human one. And like we don't know what bones rabbits would find intimidating. Um, so I thought they would be these ones. Now I'm just going to give a little bit of sort of style to the flag. I didn't like alter the drawing to fit a curved flag, which is fine. But I just didn't. Let's give it a little tatter, like it's been flying for a long time. Maybe even a tear in the end. And then, yeah, we'll give it more attachment. Okay. And then his arm. I was having trouble because rabbits don't have thumbs, right? So then I was like, oh, I would draw this, and just like how I would draw a human holding it, but then that doesn't really work because they don't have thumbs. So you just sort of have to, like in this one, I sort of fake where the thumb would be. I hide it behind the pole. And that's been like working for me, because then it doesn't, you're not like, hey, rabbits shouldn't have thumbs, but you're also not like, how is he holding that? Because you can sort of tell. All right. I'm feeling good about this one. Oh, that's an eye patch. I was like, why did I make one of his eyes absolutely gigantic? There we go. Do a little eye patch. We'll clean up his face a bit. Alright, this is Little Bunny Foo Foo. He is not in the forest anymore. He's coming to get you. Little bunny foo foo, I don't wanna see you. Scooping up those field mice and bopping them on the head. Actually, I totally do. Get to it, foo foo. I feel like mice are the enemy of sanity. Mice are like an age-old enemy of humanity. I guess rabbits can possibly be too, but rabbits are more neutral, I think. Neutral slash positive, right? But mice, oh man. Like, isn't that why the Egyptians venerated cats? It was because mice suck? Alright. I'm just going to add some fur along the edges. Instead of shading, I'll do fur shading. Where I think there should be shadow, instead I draw a little fur shadow. Do some here. Pow, 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 pow. Do some here. It's not flat. There we go. We'll make this line a little bit better, a little bit darker. I'll do the same here with the fur shading. This is further back. That's why I'm doing a little fur. It should come up above, in front of this a little. So this will be further back. I try to do the things that are in front, I try to draw with a thicker line. I think it helps catch your brain correct. That's not words. All right. This is not bad. I think the arms are a little weird, so I'm just gonna change them. I draw a lot of stuffed animals like that come to life, or that are alive, I guess is the more accurate. And so sometimes my default drawing style is that. And like, these are definitely stuffed animal arms. Oh, and also we could give them like clothes. Oh, now we've done so much work. If we give them clothes, it's sort of cheating. Oh man, look how much easier giving him clothes would have been. I wouldn't have to draw either leg. Dang. Okay, we can do clothes. No, I don't. It doesn't work for me. It would have been nice. Maybe in a different one. What else? We could do like just a shirt. It doesn't really look good either. Alright, let's do just a shirt. A sort of dirty pirate tunic type shirt. There we go. It answers some of the jacket questions without getting rid of the legs, which I spent a lot of work on. I really like. I think it does make him look more like a pirate, which is good. This is sort of like an old-fashioned Henley, is like what I've given him. All right. Get rid of the jacket. I like the idea of the jacket, but it's not for this guy. What is this? Oh yeah, that's his shirt arm and his hand. Okay. This got a little muddy here, but we can clean that up. On the computer, if we scan it in, or if we really had to, we could dig into there and clean it up. But it would be better to just clean it up on the computer. Anything I use this for, if I decide to use this, I will be scanning it in first. I will be constructing that thing digitally. So I can afford to wait to scan things in for little stuff like that. If I wasn't going to scan this in, say somebody wanted me to do a piece, a sketch, and they just want to take the actual sketch and hang it in their house, right? Which I have done for people. Then I would do a preliminary sketch first. This is the first time I've ever drawn this. So I would do that. I would draw basically this, and then I would do all the messing around, all the fixing, all the breaking, and then after that, I would get a nice piece of paper and I would draw it a second time. And that helps get rid of all the little mistake areas. I decided to give him a mustache. It's not good. I messed up. Let's see. A little mustache and a little beard. All right. I'm still going to try the mustache. That's the gold tooth. That's the regular tooth. All right, I am pretty much, let's see if we can erase this mouth, put the gold tooth in and just color it with the pencil, with the colored pencil. Here we go. That's peach, that's orange, here's yellow. Get a little, we'll do the same for the earring. And maybe for these, they're fancy. They're gold coins that he punctured to hang the flag with. Okay, let's do his shirt. A red shirt, like I know that's, I know that there's some pirates, right, who were said to have worn red and like brown so that they would not look injured if they were, right? If they got injured during the battle or a battle, they wouldn't look hurt. So maybe he's wearing red for the same reason. I think that was mostly the captain, but who knows? And it also might just be a legend. It might be one of those things that they teach kids that's not actually true. Those are great. Don't know why they do that. Oh my gosh. Like, why do we learn things that just aren't true in school? I'm just thinking about this for the first time in a long time, and I'm mad. There's no reason to do that. Oh, so like some of it is, it happens, right? So sometimes you learn something in school and history, science figures something out, or archaeologists learn something new that changes history, right? And so then you learn things in school that aren't true, but when you learned them, they were. And so that's an interesting part of how we deal with knowledge. But like sometimes you just learn things that were never true. No one ever thought they were true. And it's like it's worse than an oversimplification, because that's fine, right? That happens, and I understand that. I don't always agree, but at least I understand why you might like oversimplify something for children, and in doing so, like misinform them, lead them astray. But it doesn't make sense to do that for. This guy kind of looks like Scrooge McDuck. Okay, let's zoom in even more. I can't with this. How's that? Is that good? But sometimes there's just a lie, right? They're like, this is why this thing happened, or this is how it happened, or this was the person's reasoning. And it's just not true. A famous example is Christopher Columbus, right? The story is him being like, oh, the earth is round, and that's why I know I can get to India, and everyone else is stupid. But in reality, they knew the size of the earth. They knew it was round. This is not new for Christopher Columbus. But the argument was still the same. Christopher Columbus was saying, like, I know if I set sail from Spain over here, I can get to India. It'll be fast instead of going all the way around. Even though, like everybody else, we know how big the earth is. He said we only measured the earth down here around Africa, near the equator. The earth wasn't round, which is what everyone thought. He was saying the northern part of the earth actually has less of a circumference. And that's why I will be able to sail to India on the other side of the earth, even though a trip of that length was actually impossible at the time. He was saying, I will be able to do it because it's not that far. The Earth isn't a sphere. The Earth is a pear. And because it's a pear, it's actually way easier because India's right here and we're here and India's on the other side. So we'll be able to get to India so fast. It's not like trying to sail around the Earth near Africa or on the southern hemisphere, like where they measured the circumference of the Earth. It's actually so much smaller up here. So I will be able to do it. I'll be able to get to India. And that was the argument Christopher Columbus made, that the Earth was pear-shaped, so he would be able to get to India by sailing around the smaller part of the Earth. Because everyone knew that if the Earth was as big around as they had already measured it, which everyone pretty much understood the Earth was, then he would never be able to make it. It was too far. They knew where India was, right? So they knew how far it should take to get to India, because they already knew the circumference of the Earth. And they knew that a trip that long was basically impossible with the ships that they had. But Christopher Columbus convinced them that he would be able to do it because the Earth was actually smaller at the top. And he did not. Although I don't think he ever learned that. He thought he succeeded his whole life. This is the shape Christopher Columbus thought the Earth was. All right, enough of that. All right, we'll get the Jolly Roger on. Yeah, so I don't think we should teach kids that stuff. That Christopher Columbus thought the Earth was round and everyone else didn't. Because it's not an oversimplification, right? An oversimplification would be something like Christopher Columbus he thought he knew a secret that would help him get to India faster than everyone else thought. And he had a secret that he knew, which is true. That's what he said. He had a secret that he would explain to people who were going to fund him. But he wasn't telling other people. This was he wanted to have the glory. He wanted to be the only one who knew. He certainly wanted to be the first. And I don't think he was, right? But at the time, they were keeping a lot of that kind of stuff secret. All right, the rabbit pirate dread. Oh, the pirate dread rabbits. No. What? Should we make him no, what? We'll do just brown for the mustache. I think that makes the most sense. A little mustache and beard. We'll do like brown orange. A little red for the mouth. We'll do a little purple for the inside of the mouth. Oh, it's too purple. We'll do black. I was just trying to make the gold tooth pop. It did not work. Oh yeah, little pink for the nose. A little brown for the scarf. Scubbard? That doesn't sound right. I was saying it earlier. Scabbard. Jeezy peasy. Scubbard. I think I was getting confused with scupper. They're like a pirate word. Scupper the boat. I think it means to sink. All right. Make a little wood. I think I think the rabbit is white, because I only have one shade of brown, so it would not look great, I think, to try to color this rabbit. Not. All right. All right. That's 9. So we've done a couple rabbits and done an hour. This one got a little complicated. This one's pretty fun, but small. All right, I'm going to shift gears. Let's draw some Chinese food. Whoa. All right, one of my best-selling pieces of commercial art is a lumpia. I had drawn a lumpia. And I had drawn it like for a family member, I think, if I recall. We eat lumpia a lot, and then somebody was like, we thought it would be a good gift to give somebody a lumpia shirt. I think it was a shirt. It could have been a bag or something. And so I drew a lumpia just for them. But then, like, you can, if you draw something like that, you can sell it, right? Usually. So I put it up for sale. And people buy it. I guess it's not my best selling. There's definitely better, but it's up there. I'm trying to try to capture. I feel like egg rolls they're like square and circle-y at the same time. You want to get like the crease and the folds. And then we'll get in and we'll do some, once we get the outline done, we'll come in and we'll do some, the fry lines, that kind of thing. So, is there like a seam on an egg roll? I'm drawing a blank. Like, this feels right. It sort of looks like just a wrap. Okay, and then you have. I might take a second and look up how egg rolls are folded. Let's do it. I just ate. Oh yeah, so we were looking for a good Chinese food. So I never thought of this, right? Like on TV and everything, people talk about how Chinese food is so bad. And where I grew up, we had a really great Chinese food place. So I just thought it was like a fun joke. Everybody was saying like, Chinese food is bad. Like maybe not even a fun joke. I thought maybe it was a little racially motivated or something like that. I didn't know, right? Like, why are people always saying egg rolls are bad? Blew my mind. Okay, so okay, yeah, of course, it's triangular. Yeah, of course. Let's have it end right in the middle here. Then we'll just change this line up here. Change that. We'll change the whole thing. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I had no idea. I thought, like, just like I grew up in New York, and so our pizza looked a very specific way. And then people would get pizza on movies, and it would look weird to me. And I just thought, like, oh, that's TV pizza, like it's prop pizza. It looks weird because they don't use the real stuff because that's for eating. So they use like this cheap I just thought it was like budgetary restrictions that kept them from getting pizza that looked like good pizza. And I thought like the same, like Chinese food being bad was like a trope that people said because everyone said it and it was sort of funny, you know? Okay, yeah, so here's part of the problem with I was having with the drawing is egg rolls are a little bit more square, right? And so I was trying to say that they were square, but I was still drawing like these curved, there was no corners. And egg rolls, they're not super pronounced, right? But they definitely have corners. So like already I think this part looks more like an egg roll. And this part too, we have this corner here. We'll have like, yeah. Yeah, so, but then I lived other places, right? I moved away from home and I lived in Pennsylvania for a long time on the west side of Pennsylvania and the east side of Pennsylvania. And like, there was some acceptable Chinese food, I guess, but after I tried the places once, I stopped eating. I tried all the Chinese food around, and then I was like, okay, I don't really like Chinese food, and I would get like sushi or Asian ramen, something, just anything else, because the Chinese food where I was locally was bad. And this repeated. I moved a few different times, and this repeated every time. And I was just like, oh yeah, these places have bad Chinese food, right? And then we moved here, where we are now, upstate New York, and we tried all these local Chinese food places. And I was like, we're going to try them all until we find one that's actually good. Because we were living in a bigger city than I had lived in before. And I was like, I was sure some place was going to have good Chinese food. And then I asked some of my friends, like, oh, do you, my online friends mostly, I was like, oh, do you guys like Chinese food? Because I was doing this thing where I was like trying all the Chinese food in my area so that I could find the one that I liked. I'm leaving out that the Chinese food in my home, like in my hometown, not only was it very good, but like it was a big favorite of mine. It was like a comfort food for me. When I was feeling really down or sad or like even or when I had something to celebrate, I would get Chinese food and like not the fast foody stuff. I mean, it is fast foody, but I would get like some egg rolls and some wonton soup, and it became a comfort food for me. And so that's why I was trying to find good Chinese food in the new place where I lived. And so I was asking my friends this, my online friends, like, oh, do you like Chinese food? And everybody was like, no, uh, Chinese food is bad. Um, like, if I have to eat it, I will. But most of the Chinese food that I've ever had is bad. And I was like, oh, I never thought of that. But yeah, if I had grown up in one of the places I had lived in between, um, I would have thought Chinese food was bad because there wasn't good Chinese food. And so, yeah, so I never thought of that. I just thought it was a trope. I thought, ha ha, Chinese food's bad. It's a joke. But the Chinese food I had living other places was bad. And so I started understanding that people just really didn't like Chinese food. Just a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago. And that, yeah, I didn't. I need to be strategic with these bubbles. The texture is a little hard to capture. I think I'm getting there. So if the light is coming from this top left, then we can kind of just make the circles, the bubbles, the sort of stick to the back left here. Did I say top left for the light? If the light is coming from the top right. And this is not terrible, but it's just, it doesn't sing to me. There's something missing, but I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's duck sauce. Someone said duck sauce is apricot sauce. Could be. It's like sweet and sour, right? So, could be lots of things. Okay. Duck sauce always has those tiny bubbles trapped inside of it. I think ironically I've drawn the sauce, the accoutrement, better than the main dish. I guess it's not probably the main dish. Okay. Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay. And then what, like, how do you put drawing on one of these? Like, how do you do words? Like, what does it even say? All right. I'm a little toasted. Just so stressed from moving, but I wanted to get on, stream a little bit today. I thought it would be fun to draw the rabbits. I think I will keep the Chinese food drawing for another time. It is fun, and I don't want to do it as like an afterthought to another stream. I also need to find, before I moved, we were working on the Blub Blub cartoon, the robot tardigrades, and that might have been it. So I do want to get back to work on some of those. Also, there's I'm like thinking and drawing at the same time. Oh yeah, a couple days ago we did a bunch of animals in crowns. And so I want to do a computer stream and colorize those animals and clowns. Animals and clowns. Oh, you guys see me drawing this tardigrade? Anyway, thanks so much. And we'll see you soon. Meow.